Jesus, I love you. Jesus, I love you. Oh my. And you are welcome in. You're welcome in this place. I'm lost without you. Can't do nothing without you. Oh no. And you are welcome in. You're welcome in this place. My heart says yes. My heart says yes to your will, to your way. And you are welcome in. You're welcome in this place. Oh, ooh, oh my, oh my.
Holidays to each and every one of you.
MentorMe memorable moments. I'm sorry.
That's
You
all
had
right.
a grand opening.
That's fine. That's fine.
It is the holiday season, and we are excited to be here. Just a few more days to Christmas.
A few more.
It's beginning to look a lot like.
Have you been naughty or nice?
Well, I'm not going to answer that on the air. But we are glad to be here this evening because I think you have some news with us.
Yes, but who are we?
That is so, I'm excited. I am Tracy Everette Duncan, your host of MentorMe Memorable Moments.
Yes, and I am your co-host, William Craig III.
And we want to say happy holidays to all 135 nations and all 50 states that tune into WLVS radio.
Yes, we're glad to see you and glad to see that you are glad to see us.
Yes, always, always. So, William, I heard that there's some things jumping with the toy drive.
Reason for celebration. Thank you to all of you who have supported the toy drives that were featured on this program. And as you know, we had a couple of them this year, Toys with a Cause and Operation Christmas.
I think we have the slides on that. Eric, can you put up slides 1 and 2, please, so we can be refreshed?
And there we are, Toys with a Cause, and we had their representative, Miss Valerie McNair, and she is also associated with For Him Christian Church. That's the number For Him Christian Church. And we understand that they had phenomenal turnout. They had wonderful results. And I got to tell you that part of those results were because of your support. And so we thank you. And then the next one was Ms. Nicole Dias from Total Praise Ministries. And, of course, her toy drive was the Operation Christmas toy drive, which was also being hosted by Toys R Us. And we understand, again, that you can still go online to toysrus.com, and you'll still be able to go to the wish list there and just give.
And you know, when you go online to Toys R Us, you're going to see that most of the toys still look like no one has participated and no one has purchased those toys. That's not true.
Right.
No, you decided the alternate path, which was still fine. I talked to Miss Diaz before I came on to the program just to make sure that, you know, people were responding. And she said, oh, you all have done an awesome job. You have gone far beyond what the expectation was. And so that led me to believe that the toys may have been picked up at Toys R Us and actually dropped at a location. But Valerie McNair said the same thing. They have so many toys that they believe they're going to have enough left over to give to other shelters and other families that are in need. So you did an excellent job. Thank you very much. And we did promise that next year we're going to connect with Valerie and Nicole because we want to go to all 50 states. And we specifically want to hit the children's hospitals to make sure that each child has a toy around Christmas time. And we're hoping that you join us there as well.
Indeed.
So now,
With that said,
yes,
what would you like to take us to next?
we are going to do our financial management segment
Of course we are.
today, and that is me. You know, I'm going to teach you how to face your lions, tigers, and bears, those debtors and creditors. Yes. You're going to face them, but I'm going to arm you. I'm going to empower you, and you're going to see, you're going to have that aha moment. Oh my gosh, it has always been this easy, Tracy. Oh yeah, it has been. But we also have the fashionistas here too, and they're going to be talking probably some tips, maybe some tricks. You know, we don't want you going out there being naughty and getting caught because there could be severe penalties for that. So we're going to just talk a little bit about that. But the fashionistas are here to help dress us into the new year. So we're excited about that.
Indeed.
But you know, we did a lot of the Christmas theme last week. And with Johnny Gill, Give Love on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
That was
very nice.
beautiful.
For our video segments.
Yeah, with the ho-hos and the Santas and the toys. But you know, we know being
The
Christians,
reason for the season.
Yes, we do.
is
We know
Christ.
that it's Christ. And so we've got a little video that I want to introduce. Is it Tessera? Okay, Tessera with the BBC One's Song of Praise. This is directed by the one and only Gary Boone, and it's Mary, Did You Know?
All right.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters?
Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? And when you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know?
Mary, did you know?
Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know?
The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb.
Oh, Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation?
Mary, did you know
That your baby boy will one day rule the nations?
Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? The sleeping child you're holding is a great I am.
Is the great
I am.
was beautiful.
Wonderful. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
yes.
I really, I told you I like this song so much,
Yeah.
and that rendition was very well done.
Well, thank you.
Yes, good.
I was
Excellent.
sharing with William that I'd gone through so many videos, and that one just popped for me. I've never met this group. I've never heard of this group, but I'm going to be looking for some more YouTube videos from them.
Sounds great.
So here we are at the financial health segment. He was singing during the segment too.
I do that.
Yes. We are here to talk about how you are going to be able to talk to your creditors and your debtors. No, I didn't have any eggnog yet. So I do want to help you with that. But before we do that, we need to empower you so that you'll understand what you're going to be saying to them when you do talk to them. So Eric, if you could put up the slides, please, that have to do with this health segment. And you can go and click on slide 2 that talks about lesson 3. There we are, yes. Lesson 3 last month had to do with not kicking your assets to the curb. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't disqualify your gifts, your talents. Don't think less of them, because God can use every piece of you to further you and prosper you. Right. And we showed you that last month.
Right. And nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste. You may have thought that it was a mistake to get your degree in that area, and now you are trying to get a degree in another area. But believe me, everything about you is in essence, it's important to the kingdom of God. So don't you worry about wasted time. There is none in this kingdom. Right. So when we look at lesson 3, we were talking about what is an asset. And the assets are resources that you own that you can convert into cash. And we gave some examples about those assets too, being maybe cash in the bank, or an item that you own that you can sell and convert to cash, things like that. Mm-hmm. We also looked at what is a liability, which is an obligation to pay a product or a service, or a debt.
Right.
Okay. And so that debt could be, maybe you thought you had cash in the bank, but you're in the negative or the red, truly, and you're not getting anything for the item you sold because people consider it not of value. But we also looked at what is your net worth. Yes. And that is the assets that you own minus the total liabilities or the debts that you own, and whatever that difference is. And the example that we put out there is if you have $100,000 in assets and you have $75,000 in debt, well, 75 minus 100 is 25. Is that right?
100 minus 75.
Yes. Okay, so your net worth is only $25,000. Sorry. But that may not be a bad thing after all, because we're going to talk a little bit about leveraging that $25,000. Okay. So you were given like a homework assignment to list your things. List your assets and list your liabilities. Okay. But we also, if we put up the next slide, talked about the asset being an intangible asset. And I love intangible assets because they are non-physical assets having a value equal to or greater than a tangible asset. And one of the things that we thought about was an idea. Next slide, please.
I knew that.
Yeah, you came out with that last month. So in this example, my error, that should say intangible asset, like an idea. I took a look out there. You know, on Facebook, there's so much creativity with people doing different things. And before you know it, someone else wants that and they're putting a price to it. Well, they just had an idea, or they had a gift or a talent to do something. Like I just joined one of the Facebook sewing clubs out there, and just to see the remarkable tailoring that they have done, and it's just a hobby for them.
That's great.
But they have orders now, or they are earning a little bit of income. But I just saw this one.
I'm familiar with this company too.
I'm not surprised, William. You know everything.
No, almost.
Well, you know, someone came to me a few years ago when I was in flea market, and I was lucrative in the flea market because I took a hobby and an idea in there. And they came to me and they said, Tracy, what do you think about this? And they had their logo and everything, and it was about poop, scooping poop.
Right.
And they wanted to go around the metropolitan area as a business and scoop the poop. And I said, I think that's a great idea. Go for it. I don't know if they put enough energy into it, but when I saw this, and that slide goes up one more time, Eric, this is exactly the one before that. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is pet waste piling up. We can help. How? They're going to scoop that poop.
That's right.
And actually, their company's name is
Duty Calls.
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
So whatever your idea is that you have out there, believe me, it's an intangible asset that can earn you some big bucks.
And just as below selfish plug here, it's one of the things that we're going to be talking about as we go into the new year.
Yes.
And how you can actually get your idea from your head onto paper
Yes.
and into the atmosphere and actually materialize. So if you've got ideas, write them down, because we're going to be helping you walk through the process of getting your ideas into reality in the new year.
Mm-hmm. And I actually think that the assignment included intangible assets, and that you were to put that into your portfolio, your
Definitely.
financial health
Definitely.
portfolio. So you do want to list that, because it's going to come up again
That's right.
in other segments. Remember, all the segments intertwine, so we don't teach on one thing and then when it's over, throw it away. Oh no, you're going to see the practice of it come up again. So if we could look at that slide that says, what are some of the things to track? We talked about a spending plan, and that the spending plan is your idea, your plan approach to how you're going to tackle your debt. And looking at the spending plan, it is not quite a budget per se, because that's like a negative tone to how to manage your money. We like it's a spending plan. Yes. Okay, and that spending plan won't let you spend any more than you have to. It ensures that your bills are paid, and it helps you save. And we're going to show you how that's possible. But we listed some things to help you when you start tracking what your debts, your liabilities, your assets look like. And I gave you an idea here. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit more now about the type of debt. So do you know what type of debts you have, and which ones are critical that need to be paid like right now, or the lights are going out, versus those that you can kind of manipulate and play with your spending plan to see how you can pay a little now until you can get to pay the whole thing off.
That's what they call robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh, right? Now, I didn't want to say that.
That's why I get to say it.
Okay, yeah, a little, but we're going to get out of that mindset too, okay?
Certainly, we want to be free from that mode, but for right now, if it is what it is.
It is. And you know, one of the things I want to cover in this segment too is that a lot of people put out there, you know, how that pie in the sky spending plan, a budget is supposed to look. You're supposed to be able to pay everything off in the month, et cetera, and all that kind of stuff. No. Not in this economy. Okay, so we're going to get real with you and show you how to maneuver around your debt so that you can pay your things on time. Okay, so when we're looking at that slide, types of debts, you see that there are secure debts. And those are the debts that have collateral. And also that debt could be considered a mortgage or a car loan. And then if you don't pay the debt, then it could be repoed. Exactly. Gone. Okay. And so in order to avoid having it gone, then you can actually sell that. And hopefully get enough money that you can pay that debt off.
Or at least pay it down to where it's manageable.
Yes. Okay. Then we have unsecured debt, which is a debt that has no collateral, like your credit cards. You know, they have those high interest rates as well. Right. And if you don't pay it, they can't come and collect from you, or repo it. What they'll do is just put you in the collection agency, and there you'll wait until it's paid, but now it's a stain
and
on your credit
gonna know
report.
about it.
Oh, yeah, they are going to know about it.
Somehow I think your neighbors find out about it.
Yeah, they do. Now, what you can do is sell or return the assets and hope that they accept them back and accept what money you have on it, and then try and negotiate the balance thereof. But that's what you consider unsecured debt.
Alrighty.
Revolving debt are those debts that you pay monthly, and they have a fixed amount, like your mortgage being a secured debt. It could be a secured debt and a revolving debt. There is usually has a contract involved with it, with a fixed interest rate, or it could have a balloon type interest rate.
Gotcha.
And then it's not likely to rise. And I hear that people say, I paid my mortgage and all of a sudden my mortgage has increased. No, really, look at your papers. Your mortgage did not increase. Maybe the taxes did.
Or even the interest rate.
Yeah, but the mortgage itself,
Right.
because that's under a contract. And actually, if you look at the amortization of your contract, you'll see where the more you pay on the prime, the less the interest rate is. So your mortgage
Correct.
rate will be going down.
Right, because the interest rate is attached to the outstanding balance.
Yes, exactly. And that's what they're basing the percentage on for your balance.
Right.
Okay? So people who have these type of revolving accounts they manage them very well. Or as long as the economy is doing well and they haven't lost their job, they manage them very well because they know exactly what they're going to be paying every month. But then you have those installment payments where you pay monthly as well, and those are based on the percentage. And so the higher interest rate are usually accompanied with these installment type of payments, and the higher the interest rate, again, the less you pay down. But usually these installments are those things like you get in the mail, you're approved for $5,000 or
Right.
$16,000, something like that. And the problem with that is that the interest rate is very high. It could be 29%, 30%. And so you think that $5,000 is a great thing, but by the time you finish paying on it, you're almost paying $10,000 back.
Or more.
Or more. So you really don't want those unless you have in your plan where you can pay it all back before it escalates and gets out of control.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's going to cause problems. So take a look at your spending plan to determine which category your debts are in so that we can begin to make the adjustments. Next slide, please.
So where do you go from here?
Oh, we're not there yet. Well, I'm sorry, we are. He throws me off when he puts those slides down. I love you, Eric. I love you. Okay, so look, this is where we're going to go. We're just 3 simple steps right now. Now, granted, this is what I've been teaching for over 20 years.
Yes.
And this is what I practice in my life as well.
Okay.
And this is, in teaching this over 20 years, people have come back and say, yeah, that works for me, okay? This is what you can do to help get you out of debt. You got to first get organized. So in step 1, create your portfolio. That means group all your debts into a category, whether they're secured or unsecured, whether they're revolving or they're installments, and identify which debts you need to have paid like right now. Utility bills,
Right.
Car note, maybe if you're 2-3 months behind, or they're coming to get it.
Right.
Those kind of things. Those are your urgent or essential bills. Then step 2 would be look at what is your net worth. Separate your income per your pay cycle, if you get paid daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and then apply the payments that you have towards your debt. And I'm going to teach you how to do it so that it's most advantageous to you, okay?
Because there is some debt that you, as you mentioned earlier, that could wait a little while.
Right.
As opposed to some debt that really needs to be addressed right away.
Exactly. You know what? Why don't we just go ahead and talk about that right here before I get to step 3?
Okay.
You know, in the real world, they say your mortgage is supposed to be paid by the 1st, or your rent is supposed to be paid by the 1st.
Okay.
But we're in a volatile economy right now,
Right.
and nothing is safe or sure. And you may have been a little bit behind on your mortgage or your rent.
Okay.
So let's say you have negotiated that your mortgage, when you got it, was going to be paid by the 5th of the month.
Right.
Okay, and it's not late until the 20th of the month.
Okay.
Okay, and when it's late on the 20th of the month, then it's like $80 extra for a
incur an
late
extra
fee.
charge, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but you're going to get paid on the 15th of the month.
All right.
And lights out if you don't pay the electricity before the 15th of the month.
Definitely have to pay the lights.
That's right. So what's the dilemma here? I don't see one.
No, not at all.
Because the mortgage is due on the 5th. I'm sorry, I don't have it, but I get paid on the 15th, and it's not considered late until the 20th, but I'll have to incur an extra $80 charge, okay? My utilities are due on the 3rd. I'm paying my utilities, okay? And then on the 15th, I will pay my mortgage, and I still won't have that $80 late fee at all. Now, who says I'm late? Because Creditors report it every 30, 31 days. Who says I'm late? Your mortgage company. But are they reporting that you're 30 or 31 days late?
Nope.
No, they're reporting that you are late within their internal process. Okay? And so don't let them frighten you or check you or make you push and commit to something that you just can't do. Pay them on the 15th.
So what you're saying, too, is it goes back to the very first thing you said, which was get organized. And I don't think people really understood what that meant, because this is a part of getting organized. Actually knowing what the fine print, if you will, says on each one of your contracts. To know what the due date really is, the real due date, because as Tracy just said, although, yes, it's due on the 1st, it's not late until the 20th. So bottom line is you got till the 19th to make something happen.
That's right.
Then the other piece to that is, what are those fees that will be incurred? Because if you pay one late, there may be a $50 fee. You pay another late, there may be a $100 fee. So now you got to weigh which one is most advantageous to be late with. Because at the end of the day, it may cost you more to pay one late over the other. And then certainly to know if your utilities need to stay on, if you want them to stay on.
In the dead of winter, yes.
And you know, part of, I'll just say this, and I'll be transparent. I've been there and done that. With some of these things, the bottom line is if as long as you pay it before the due date, you won't have to pay all of it. So let's just say with your light bill, you're a couple of months behind for whatever reason, but you're a couple of months behind. And if they actually get turned off, they may actually not only say, okay, you got to pay us all that you owe us, but we now want a security deposit in addition to the late fee that you're going to incur. So you really want to know all of the fine print behind all of your contracts. So that's the what getting organized really means, to know this up front.
And I'm sure there's some people in that predicament now, and they just don't have the money to come up with all of that. You know, those are things.
So pay on it, though, because it's better to pay on it than to just let it go. And then it comes totally due, and now in addition to what you did owe, you owe so much more.
So, but that brings us to the step 3. All right, so you've listed all your debts. You know what you can pay. You put what you can pay inside of your spending plan, and you know what your months are going to look like and how the pays are going to fall, so who's going to get what at what time. But then you've got a list of other things that I just can't possibly pay this. These were some bad decisions that I've made. I need to get out of this, and I don't know how. So what you want to do is put that list aside for right now. Those things that you think are impossible to pay, put them aside, because what we want to do is just stabilize what you can pay. We're going to return to the things that you say that you can't pay. Next slide, please. So now this is an example of an income spending plan. So as you can see on the left column, I just chose 2004. These are bogus numbers that I've used in 2004. The income number 1, week 1 through week 5, and the January months through December gives you an idea that this is an individual that gets paid $1,000 a week. And so he's added up the $1,000 and has come up with $4,000 of income. This is net income. Okay, and so I mean, every once in a while there is a month or two that has another $1,000.
Twice a year. Look forward to it.
Okay. Well, see, I'm trying to get you to the point where you don't look forward to it. Okay, so you've got at least $4,000 a month that you are working with, and at the end of that year, you have made about $50,000.
Sounds good.
If you have a dual income family, like individual or income number 2, this person gets paid bi-weekly.
Okay.
And bi-weekly is just short of $2,000. And of course, you've got your month or 2 in there that has that extra 5th week. And their income is about $41,000 for the year. So combined together, you and your individual who's sharing your debts are about $91,000 net income. That's
Okay.
pretty nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure
That's-
is.
Now, if you turn to the next slide, you see an example of secure debt. And in this secure debt, you've got a mortgage to pay, whether you're an
Okay.
individual or whether you're someone who has a partner or someone sharing a roommate. The mortgage, let's say, is $1,800 a month. At the end of that year, you see you're going to have about $21,600, and then in that is potential interest that you'll be able to write off at tax time.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So then you also see that you have a second mortgage or a second something. It could be an RV, it could be a boat, it could be land, retirement property,
Okay.
anything. Okay. And then you have car number 1 and car number 2 insurance, and car number 1 insurance is so low because you're just carrying maybe collateral damage.
Okay,
Is that right?
Collateral.
Okay. All right. It's not full, but
Collision. I'm
collision.
sorry,
That's
collision.
it. Yes. Car number 2 has full insurance on it. Then you see your monthly pay for car number 2. You see your cell phone and utilities and miscellaneous. And I say cell phone $45 because there are plans out there right now that will give you unlimited text, unlimited voice, unlimited data for $35.
But that's an ugly phone that you get. With
No, you can attach it to the iPhones. Stop, William. Stop that. Okay, so your total for essential debt is about $4,000 here.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. And so if you look at the bottom, that gives you a reminder of what the income was with a 2-income family. So do you think that if your debts are about $4,000, looking at the total income, that you can afford those debts?
Right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect thing.
Definitely.
And actually, if you look
'cause
over,
you got so much left over.
exactly. If you go all the way to the total column, looking at how much you have left over, you could pay State Farm because State Farm or your car insurance is $720 for the entire year.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, you can pay that
You
off.
can pay that off.
And either keep that money, save that money, spend that money as kudos to you, or apply it to another debt. So your spending plan is talking to you, but now this is just essential debt. Let's take a look at the
Right.
next slide where we're looking at the unsecured debt. Oh my gosh, here we go. Unsecured debt could be those personal loans that we talked about, where they send you a check in the mail for $5,000 and tell you go ahead and cash it. It's all
Okay.
yours,
Okay.
but you didn't flip it over to see that it's at 29%. Okay, you don't
Gotcha.
want to do that. Let's say you have some office space because you're trying to get your business up.
Okay.
And whether that office space is in the home or it's external, you're spending some money on that. And also your installment credit cards, all of that is there. If you look down at that home landline, that is your landline at home. We use cell phones so much.
A lot of people do.
Who does traditional phones like that? Okay, put your hand down. Well, mainly when you're going to buy something that's a major piece of property, they want
It's part of the
landline.
package too sometimes.
Yes. And so I have, if you go to ooma.com, OOMA.com, you can get that traditional bill down to less than $5 a month.
Let me write that down.
Yes,
Hold on a minute.
OOMA.com. I have had UMA for about a year now, and all I pay on my landline, which is really a VoIP line, is connected with my internet, is
Right.
less than $5 a
And
month.
that's why you really need it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so now you've got this unsecured debt that's totaling almost $2,000 a month. Take a look at the summary at the bottom. Your monthly income is about $7,000 to $9,000 because of those extra paychecks.
Gotcha.
Your monthly debt is about $5,000 to $6,000, and when you subtract that, your remainder is about $2,000 to $4,000, depending on if you're going to be working with that extra paycheck.
Okay.
So it looks like you're able
You
to
still got
handle this
some
debt.
money left over, sure.
And believe me, when you sit down and do your spending plan and write in there what your debts are, you're going to find that you do, in fact, have a lot of money
Hidden
left
money,
over.
yeah.
Yes. It's just that you've been buying those coffees that are $5 to $7 every morning.
No.
Oh, yeah, and buying those lunches when you can take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a couple of
No.
apple slices and a bag of chips.
Not our audience.
Oh, yes, you can. So if you turn to the next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay, when we're looking at how to pay this, you see this is a person's first paycheck.
Right.
Okay, I know that I get paid either bi-weekly, weekly, whatever. All right,
Okay.
and I know what my debts are now and how much they're going to cost me out of the month. So this is how I think that I can lay my debts across my income when my checks come in.
Gotcha.
And so that if I do this, then at the end of the month, I'm going to pay on specific things, and it's a mixture of the secure and unsecured here. I'm going to
Right.
pay on specific things that will range from a little under $1,000 to
Right.
almost $1,500.
Okay.
Okay, and where I don't make enough in the month to handle $1,500, then I'm going to move some things around. I'm going to manipulate my spending plan so
Okay.
that it works for me. If you look down which income will pay the debt that week, here's income number one. Remember, $1,000 a
Right,
week.
right.
Okay, if this is what's incurred in the month,
I see.
do you think I can pay my
Yes,
debts?
and have a little bit left over.
Oh, yes.
For
yes.
one, at least one of those expensive coffees.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you look down a little further, here comes income number two. Oh, what joy, what joy, what joy there is. We can share these debts now
Yeah.
and still have enough money left over.
Yes.
And I know what some people are asking. Well, suppose I don't make enough money.
Right. If
Okay.
there's not enough in the first place.
That's right. Yeah, you're going to have to make some decisions because your spending plan talks to you. It speaks to you. It tells you how much money you need to make in order to get rid of that debt. And there's a formula in my class that I teach the women to look at, the number of hours that you work divided by the total cost of your debt in order to determine what you need to make per hour
Okay.
to pay that debt.
All right.
And whether that's for
Cat's out of
6
the bag
months,
now.
yeah, 9 months or a year, it can be done. So this is how people
That's
determine
wonderful.
how to get out of debt in a year or in 18 months. This
Right,
is how I
right.
did it
Okay.
in that short amount of time when I got into that severe debt. So then we're going to wrap this up real quick and talk about what to do when the creditors call you, because I said those lions, tigers, and bears out there, they're dialing you, emailing you, they're talking to your neighbors.
Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Knocking
they're
on the
there. They're
door.
not going away
Yes,
at all.
indeed.
You can't run from them. You can't hide.
Bad boys.
Let's
What you
talk
gonna do?
about the debtors first.
Alrighty.
So you've got your spending plan in hand. Now you are empowered. You know what you can pay and what you cannot pay.
Okay.
And no one's going to make you try and pay what you cannot pay, because that's just going to keep you in debt. So what you want to do now is just negotiate with your debtors. The women that I have found, that I have taught in this class that got it, they went home and picked up the phone and called the debtors. They didn't wait for the debtors to call them.
Gotcha.
And then they told them, this is what I can pay. I know I owe this debt, and I am going to pay my debt off.
Right.
But this is all I can pay right now. Will you accept this?
Okay.
Now, some of the debtors will say, well, yeah, we'll accept that. We'll work with that. We'll just jot it in your notes, But if you miss, we're going to come after you again. Well,
Right.
that's fine. There's a possibility that you will miss, but at least you have a plan in hand. But then there are some debtors will say, well, you know what? How about we just settle this pennies on the dollar?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and we will give you a letter that says that we have written this debt off. Now, did they really write it off, William?
No.
No, that debt is still there. They're going to show that they had this agreement with you and that we settled, or that they settled this debt at this amount of money.
Right.
But at the end of the year, you're going to get a little slip from that debtor that
right.
says this is the balance on what you owe. And so you'll need to take that to the tax table when you go. But we're going to talk about that next month. So
Okay.
right now, Eric, if you can put up the slide that talks about what the debtors' rules of the game name are, they can't call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 o'clock at night, your local time. They can't call you repeatedly, and they can't call you at any time you previously stated as an inconvenience. You work at home. You work 8 hours at home. You can't afford to talk to the debtor, so you're going to have to tell them, don't call me between 9 and 5.
Okay.
And so then they have up until 9 o'clock that night to talk to you. There's no law that says you have to communicate with the debtor who's trying to collect that debt from you by phone. What you can do is tell them, I would prefer to talk to you in writing. Send me a letter, or here's my email address. But if the collector continues to call you repeatedly, even after you have hung up on them, because you can hang up on them, it's still not going to let them go away. You can hang up on them. If they continue to call you after you hang up with them and tell them, stop calling me at this time, then you can report them. So all you have to do to stop debt collectors from calling you is to tell them that you prefer to communicate with them in writing. Stick to your agreement, because that's your integrity.
Right.
That's your word.
And if you know there is going to be an issue with that agreement, call them beforehand.
Yes.
Don't wait until afterwards or not say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But renegotiate.
Yes, yes. And so, Eric, we're going to end this presentation here because we do have a few more slides, but we're walking into the fashionistas time, and I don't want to do that because they have some great things to tell us. So let me introduce to you our fashionistas. They are back again, and that is Danae and Courtney.
All right.
Welcome.
All right.
We'll be a little slow, but that's okay. We're all here at the table, and we're waiting to hear some good news about this season.
All right.
What do you have for us today?
Well, today we're going to talk about internet purchases, eBay, some of the larger companies, and what's the best route to go about buying things online.
Okay.
And also what you can do with the things you buy. You know, you don't have to buy a full look. How to make those pieces work for your whole wardrobe and how to make those things fit in.
Okay.
Great.
So do we need to put up the slides now?
Well, I'll go over the first thing, which is read everything.
Okay.
So when you go online and you see something you really love, whether it be eBay or Etsy or any of these companies where you buy things online, read everything. Read the return policies. Read what the thing actually is, what it's made of. I know I made a mistake. I got really excited because I thought I found a really good price on a perfume that I really liked.
Right.
And it was a miniature. And I just got excited about the price.
Wow.
And I clicked the buy button and was like
Gotcha.
really excited.
And then it came in the mail.
Yeah, and then it came like this
You needed
much.
a magnifying glass.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? I had to go back and reread it. I was like, okay, I'm stupid.
That's a good one.
off.
Yeah, that is. That is a good one.
Like, read everything. Like, that's my, I mean, even sometimes when you're looking at something and it looks like it's a designer bag, they'll tell you it's not, but you need to read that. And so that's my first rule.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Second rule is you can typically find better deals online. A lot of people think you have to go to the store every week because I know discounters run different promotions every week, but a lot of times the better deal really is online. Okay. And a lot of retailers are offering free shipping now. You can return it for free. So you don't really need to be scared about if something doesn't work out, you're not stuck with it, or you can even return it back in store. So always look online first for the better deal. There are certain websites, one that I was actually introduced to, it's called The Find, TheFind.com.
Okay.
You go on there, you put into the search box whatever the item is you're looking for, and it will bring up for you where you can find it and who has it for the cheapest price.
Cool.
Yep. So that's tip number 2.
Tip number 3 is look for the special coupons and discounts and deals. Sometimes if you just go and put in your search discount at Gap, whatever the newest codes will come up.
Right.
And it can save you 50% off, 40% off, on clearance and on full price. So, if you're in a space where you need some winter clothes, maybe your stuff is worn out or worn down, or you went in the closet and stuff doesn't fit the way it used to, and you need to look a certain way, those type of discounts can get you a lot further, and so it's amazing how many deals you can really make. Like, Banana Republic almost weekly has some type of discount or deal, and it's good conservative pieces that you can wear to work if you work in a place where you need to look conservative. And so there's like all of these sort of options in terms of just going online and looking up discounts, and there's all these websites that's all they're dedicated to doing is finding out what the cheapest version of something is, or who has a coupon that will work for you online or work for you in store.
Great.
And to sort of piggyback off of that, you can even sign up for apps on your phone. Like there's Retail Me Not. They'll send you notifications when whatever discounter or whomever is having a sale, and so you can keep track of it that way too. So.
Great.
You want me to take this one? All right. So you've heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. Stay on budget, especially getting involved in auctions, which I'm an auction queen.
Oh, I love auctions.
Yeah. But stay on budget, because the game with auctions is that they'll chum the water, and so everybody gets panicked that somebody else is going to get this item, and you start going outside of your budget. You have $50.
That's right.
You don't have $55. You don't have $72. Make sure you include in that budget what the shipping because shipping is different for everybody. And depending upon where it's coming from, they're going to hit you with a shipping fees that can be tricky, especially if it's coming out of the country.
That's right.
And so that being the case, make sure you're make your decision. I love those boots. I love those shoes, but
I'll pay no more than.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And don't bid the amount. Bid just under the amount. You'd be surprised how many times you went under the amount. That's your budget buster.
Okay. Being careful of counterfeits. We have spoken about this before, but it's especially important when you're purchasing online, because you don't know where things are coming from. You're not really necessarily familiar with people, especially on eBay. So just being careful of that and reading fine print.
Also, if it seems like it's a really good deal, but it doesn't seem right, don't buy it. Nobody dies if you don't buy a Chloe bag. Right. And so, if that bag retails at $5,000-$6,000, and you're looking at it and they only want $200, something's up. I mean, maybe it's a real Chloe bag, or maybe it's the Louis Vuitton bag of your dreams. Probably it's a counterfeit, and just beware of that. Because there's, you can't spill any tears over something that you can't return over and you knew it wasn't legit to begin with. I mean, you can be sad about it, but be sad in your corner. And so, because it's like you sort of set you up in that moment. I mean, I've gotten really good deals on things and on really great designer pieces, but you kind of have to know what you're dealing with, and and just be ahead of the game. And you can ask the Louis Vuitton people, did you guys do a handbag like this, or is this the pricing for this item? And that, because they don't know what you're calling about, so sure, they'll answer the question, and so there's ways of researching what something should be.
Now, aren't there ways to research some of these providers, if you will, to see what they're, especially when you mention like a place like eBay?
Everybody has a track record, and you live and die by your track record on eBay, on Etsy. On some of the other auction sites too, the companies will yank you if they're getting a lot of information about you or a lot of chatter about you that isn't good, and so people live and die by those.
Right. So you want to look at that track record.
Yeah, those high sellers, they're high sellers because they're legit. Most of the time, people don't have issues with them, and they get high scores.
Right.
So and this is a guy, this $5,000 bag at $200, and he's never sold anything there before. It's probably want to stay away from that.
Right.
You may want to sidestep him.
Right. It's a little
Christmas money.
Just be realistic, in your expectation.
And PayPal is a great buffer.
Okay.
between you and those people, because PayPal will go for bat for you. Will go to bat for you.
Okay.
If you don't really, or you can put the money in the PayPal account and
Like an
pay out of
escrow.
it.
Right.
Yeah. If you feel like that's an easier way or a better way for it to work for you.
Gotcha.
But I use PayPal for a lot of things. It makes things a lot easier
Yes.
in terms of dealing with. Well, even when I have sold on eBay, the money sits in PayPal for a few days before it goes into the account. But the money sits there in case the person doesn't get the item,
Okay.
Right.
or something goes sideways. So the money isn't really, it's still sort of sitting in limbo.
Right.
And they can't send you your money back that way, as opposed to you having to now fight some person somewhere else in the globe
Right.
over your $50.
Gotcha. That's
It's,
great
we
We
advice.
have about a couple more minutes.
So I guess we can go right into the
Yeah,
slides
we can go to our
then, so
slides.
we can see some items that have been purchased online and how to work them into a wardrobe and make some looks from them.
So, Eric, can you load the slides, please? Okay. And so, oh, wonderful.
Okay.
So the shoes are eBay finds, and the trench coat is an eBay find. And so what we did was you look, you need an outfit to go somewhere. We sort of did a boho chic look, but the shoe is, it's not a shoe that you're going to find everywhere. It's out of season. Whenever they created that shoe doesn't exist any longer.
Okay.
So it's a piece that you get to wear, and it's a statement piece.
Yeah, very nice.
And you have that option of putting it with things that are sort of basic but not basic, and it pumps up the look a little bit,
Sure.
gives it a little edge.
Do you remember how much you paid for those?
How much?
Oh, probably $50.
$50
Oh, get out
Yeah,
of here.
they're
For
like
the whole outfit.
Italian made Enzos.
For the
yeah.
shoes.
Oh, for the
It's
shoes.
The
boots,
shoes were
yeah.
$50.
Okay.
The jacket, Danae,
I might have paid $20.
Okay.
the dress was $16.
Great.
And the handbag was I got that from a store, but it's been so long.
Next slide.
Next slide.
It's sort of the same game. I found those wool shorts on eBay. I won an auction. I think I paid $14 with shipping for them. The shoes are a higher end brand. They're a Kohan, and they're a limited edition. But I didn't pay very much for those. I might have paid $80 for those.
And now they would normally go for.
Probably
Kohan,
they're
probably.
pretty expensive. Probably about $300. So, but I never pay more than.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
Okay. Next slide.
So with this one, the jacket was a limited edition item done by Tom Brown
Yeah, that's
for it was that Neiman Marcus Target sort of mashup.
Okay.
And I missed it in the store. I never found my size in the store,
Mhm.
but it was on eBay a year later, and I probably paid $15 with
Wow.
shipping for it.
Okay.
And it was a really good steal. Same thing. Those are Todd shoes. Those are probably $700 pumps. I paid $70.
Okay.
So,
Get out.
Next slide, please.
the boots I got from DSW, I think I paid about $35 for them. The skirt I found in the store. I loved it, but I couldn't find my size in it, and found it on, I think, Saks. And they were in one of their big sales at the end of the season, and ended up paying maybe $50 for a $150 skirt.
Right.
So
Wow. Wow. And so I think that's the slides. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's-
excellent.
so you just keep
Yeah.
yeah, and the boots that had the handbag all came from online. And the boots were they're Todd's. They were eBay find. And then this is just more items that I've found and picked up along the way.
Okay. All right. So with spending plan in hand and budget, that naughty little word, you can really go out there and make a difference.
Yeah,
really stack
absolutely.
that
Yeah, and
closet.
update your wardrobe without breaking the bank.
Excellent, excellent. Can't wait to see you next month when we get together and talk about, okay, now we got this debt, how do we get out of it? Or how do we return those items, you know? Yes. So we want to thank our fashionistas for joining us
Always a
today.
great job.
Yes.
Thank
And we
you.
actually want to thank you too for joining us. We're going to be back next week with our physical health segment, and all of the tenants are going to be at the table because we want to sign off the year with you and talk to you about what's coming up in 2015.
Special.
But we're going to do something a little different in closing out this segment. I found a video with Mary J. Blige and Andre Bocelli. And they are singing a duet, What Child Is This? We're not going to come back off of this video, so happy holidays to you.
Merry Christmas.
Be safe,
Happy
be
Hanukkah.
smart, be healthy.
Healthy.
Andre has a beautiful holiday CD called My Christmas. It really is gorgeous. It's in stores now, produced by hitmaker David Foster. When I heard cut number 6, I started to cry. I think it's my favorite CD for Christmas this year. So we called Andre and said, you have to be a part of the show, singing a beautiful version of What Child Is This? Welcome Andre Bocelli and my dear friend Mary J. Blige with David Foster on piano.
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap? He's sleeping.
Home angels greet with anthems sweet, while the good shepherds watch our keeping.
So bringing incense, gold, and myrrh, come peasant king to warm him.
The King of Kings salvation brings, let loving hearts enthrone him. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him love, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Praise, oh, raise the song on high. His mother sings her lullaby.
Oh,
Joy, for
Christ is born,
the babe
the babe
and the Son
and the Son
of Mary. The babe and the Son of Mary. Of
Thank you.